Hey guys, it's Rush. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've covered City of the Wolves and City of the Wolves Ken on the channel. I haven't really been playing it, in all honesty, but there is something I wanted to talk about. It's a concept I had a while ago, and it was about Season 2 Ken in City of the Wolves. Some of the things I feel like this character needs changing in the future of this game. So the first thing is his breaks. So a break is where you do a DP or a EX Tatsu and you can break the move. This is a common thing you see for certain specials in City of the Wolves. Now, Ken's EX Tatsu, the grounded one into break, is pretty bad. Now, I'm doing heavy DP break, and you can see the damage is 58 before the break happens. Total damage of this move is 87 on regular hit. EX Tatsu has good damage if you let the whole animation play out. You don't break it, 115. But if I break it, it's 53 damage. The damage prior to the break is pretty low. I do feel like this needs a change where the damage output is higher for the initial hits, then post-break, that damage is where it's less. That would mean combos like this would do more damage because they utilize break, but I get follow-ups. The damage is quite low with light confirms or even just raw crouch and medium kick confirm because that damage before the break is low. The next thing I want to talk about is run DP. Now, I feel like this move is not utilized at all in this game. There's no real combo routes that you'd use this move. Now, I don't really know how SNK could change this, but I think more utility with this move would be a good thing. I don't know if they need to increase damage or the startup of it. Maybe just Ken's overall juggle properties to allow more combo opportunity and potential. The only combo route I can really see using this consistently would be something like that, which is a meterless follow-up from the EX Jimmo kicks into the EX Fireball cancel. But the damage is pretty low there, and you're likely going to do something like this anyway. Yes, you get the side swap, but it opens you up to so much more damage. You can go into a number of follow-ups there after that heavy DP break. The damage is much higher. This next point is to do with Ken's High Crush, this attack here. This move, as you know, it's a universal anti-air. Every character has it, but this move itself is pretty bad. 12 frame startup, it's -6 on block, and it has a terrible hitbox. The hitbox on this is very, I don't know, it doesn't feel like an anti-air because the opponent jumps in and you have to delay it to where they get to a height where this connects rather than doing it when they're actually in the air. More like this move. This move is clearly an anti-air. You can do it quite early on and it will knock them out of the sky. This does not work like that. And it's problematic because you want to use this to deal with jumping rev blow, air rev blow. But trying to use this where the opponent is doing regular jumps and doing jump rev blow. I'm not saying I wanted to cover both options, but to deal with both options, you get blown up by both because you have to delay this to deal with the air rev blow. But if they regular jump and you slightly delay it, you end up hitting them when they're on the ground and they end up blocking. So it's completely pointless. If I get the dummy, the Marco, to jump at me and do both options, you can see if I delay this, I'm delaying it ever so slightly there to deal with the air rev blow. But if I delay it to deal with the regular jump, it's almost impossible to like use it as an anti-air for the regular jump. It's the SPG scenario that makes it really hard. You either get hit or they land on the ground and it gets blocked and it's -6 on block. So it's just a nightmare. I don't generally use this as an anti-air. There it worked nicely. But it's, yeah, I really struggle to use this as an anti-air cleanly. This next point is a very important one. Ken's stand heavy kick, his standing D attack, not the forward D, forward heavy kick, which is that one. It's the standing one that starts the target combo. This, in my opinion, should not whiff against crouchers. This is really bad. It's not a move you can throw out in neutral. It's actually bad as a whiff punish tool because if they whiff like a crouching attack, this doesn't whiff punish because this whiffs entirely by itself. It's really bad, and I think this needs to be changed like immediately. I don't understand why it's like that. The thing with this is you get no mix. So where you do the, I think you may have to do it on hit, I think, or there we go. So yeah, you can do it on whiff. Where you do the stand medium kick into the overhead, that was a change you got in Season 2. This also is useless because this whiffs on crouchers So, like, there's no mix here. This at least would have to hit on block right to then commit to the overhead. But if they're already standing, so if I change Marco to then stand, there's no mix there because he's already standing. If he blocks the medium kick, he's already standing. So there's no point me even doing that. And that's punishable anyway. It's -6 on block. There's no mix. But this in neutral, as mentioned, as a tool, a whiff punish tool, as a neutral engager, really bad. This needs to connect against crouching opponents. I say back to crouch. And then the remaining part of it can then whiff. If you're just throwing it out, you're going to commit to the whole target combo. That second hit should definitely whiff on crouches. That should whiff the second hit to eliminate people just throwing it out on block. So the last thing I want to point out is Ken's heavy DP break. This actually doesn't function correctly in my opinion. So heavy DP break, you get a juggle, but you can see Marco's falling to the ground very quickly. This really limits the follow-ups that you get. You've got to be very quick to get a follow-up here. If I compare this to Marco's heavy DP break, you can see that Ken gets launched about the same height, but he falls down from the air a lot slower. And this enables for much better juggles, better combos, better juggles, and more time to hit confirm. The other thing about this is if you get a counter hit, you can see Marco launches be really high in the air because of the counter hit status. I've now got counter hit state set to Ken's heavy DP, but if I do a heavy DP break, you can see I get the counter hit and you get the juggle notification, you get the effect, you get the sound that sends them up in the air. But that second hit is stopping them from going up in the air. That second hit before the break. There's 2 hits of heavy DP before the break, and that is stopping the launch properties in that scenario. This is the same behavior with EXDP into break. You can see they launch, the juggle doesn't send them very high. Well, they're high in the air, but they don't float for a long period of time. But also the second hit of EXDP into break is stopping the counter hit juggle into the air for a much bigger combo. This is the juggle that you should see on counter hit. It should go up in the air like that to enable for a more devastating combo. So those are my proposed changes. These aren't even buffs. I feel like these things make sense in regards to the game that he's in. He's in City of the Wolves and the characteristics of this game. Some of the combo potential he should have. There's some limitations, some severe limitations, and I feel like design flaws with his character. Those changes would transform this character. It wouldn't break him, but it'd make him a lot better and a lot more well-rounded. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.